Alright everybody, welcome back to another episode of Western Wednesday. Again, this isn't an open tag, but if you guys want to jump on and show a Western on a Wednesday, by God, go for it, please, because I appreciate everyone kind of watching this and kind of appreciating what I'm putting together and showing off these great Western blades. Now what we got here is the Western 062 Folding Hunter. Now I bought this knife a few weeks ago and it doesn't look anything like it did when I first bought it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to post some pictures up here and kind of rotate through them. If you look, the delrin was so faded in this first pick, and what I did was I just let her soak in some mineral oil for about 4 days before I did anything to it. And what it did is it brought the luster back into the delrin scales. So if you look in the picture as I'm holding it, it's just all white. It's just, I didn't even know I'd be able to get it back in there, but just, Knife Delight's always talked about soaking it in mineral oil, and I did that, and like I said, 4 days, from like a Sunday to a Wednesday, she soaked. So then, I got it out of the oil, dried it off, and then you'll see the other pics here, you know, of each side as you kind of rotate, and you're going to see how the blades were so patinaed up. Now they were really pretty patinaed, and what I did was I just started with some 600 grit sandpaper wet and worked my way to 2000, and then finished off with some mother's wheel polish. So if you look up there, you're going to see the pictures on each side and how kind of look, you can see the kind of reflection of it. Now it does still have some spots in it where that kind of patina was like down in the metal, so I couldn't get her all the way down without putting it on a belt, and I don't like putting my knives on belts, but as you can see up there, it looks 10 times better than it did. Also polished the bolsters. Now with those in the back springs, I didn't have a problem using a Dremel with a brush, with a like a cloth, I don't know what you call it, cloth spinning tool or whatever, but I used it on the outside of the knife. And I haven't sharpened this yet, I just haven't had time. I'll actually sharpen this with my Ken Onion blade grinding attachment, because it'll need that and deserve the attention. So if we look here, she isn't very centered, but guys, this is an old knife. If we look, we got the tang stamp here, Western, Boulder, Colorado, made in USA. Now I reach out to BDH, who is a great wealth of Western knowledge, and he said this one dates from 55 to the early 60s. So, I mean, that's old. I mean, dang near, what are we looking at here? From 60 to 2024, man, that's 64 years old right there. So I mean, at the youngest, it could be 64. It could be almost 70. He said, and you know, someone used it, someone carried it, but they didn't abuse it too bad. You can see there is some spots here in this bolster. I didn't want to sand that. What I did with the bolsters is I just used the polish on those. I kind of like to leave as much integrity as possible on these, just to kind of show that at one time it was used and loved, but also I can show you what it looks like when she's all cleaned up and ready to actually do some work. And we do got some blade rub here in the middle of the knife where it's coming down and hitting the peak here on the palm swell, but that don't bother me. I mean, to have this knife right here, I paid $38 for this knife, and I think I got a pretty smoking deal. If we can get it to come in there, you can see that blade rub right in the middle, right there where the shadow is. But, you know, like I said, it don't bother me at all, and I got the original sheath with it. I found this in an antique store. I haven't done anything to the sheath yet. It was just kind of down below, and the sheath was open, and a little bit of the knife, like that much, was sticking out right there like that, and I could tell exactly what it was by the sheath and the bolster. And I said, let me see that, because they wanted more for SD Classics than they wanted for this thing. I've already scuffed up my thing by putting it down in the sheath. But if we look, I've already put a little line right there just from the sheath. So I'll fix that when we get off here. But what I want to do also is pull up some catalog information here. You know, if we look at this, and if you look, we'll put her, we'll kind of put her up in the middle here. The number 62 folding hunter knife, always popular knife because of the large blades, compactness when closed, and convenience of a second blade. Carbon steel blades and springs, stag pattern delrin handle, regular clip master blade, and special long clip blade are both, what's it say, 3 and something inches long. I'm gonna measure it because I can't not see good enough to tell what it says, but this looks like it's dang 3 and 7/8 inches long, and I think that's what it says. And closed 5 1/4 inches molded belt sheath also included. So yep, she is 5 1/4 inches. So let's look at it totally open and see how long it is totally open. We'll take the picture down and we look here. She goes from 4 to, man, 13 1/8, so it's 9 1/8 inches open. That's pretty big. That's pretty big. And like I said, this is a carbon steel knife with carbon steel springs. If you look, I did polish the spring. Let's try to get it to come in. I did polish the springs, but there's still a little bit of discoloration here and there, and I still got some. I flushed the pivot. You know, after you're sanding and polishing and stuff like that, that gunk gets down in the pivot. So I'm working hard and still getting that cleaned out. But this thing turned out pretty good. I mean, I'm pretty impressed with it. I always liked doing this stuff. I was probably up till 2 a.m. working on this knife because I just didn't have anything better to do, and I did a little bit of it, and I was laying in bed. I'm like, I just want to go in there and just kind of finish it off, and I kind of did. I kind of just went to town on it and got her done. But if we look at that one, I may have another folding hunter in here to compare it to. I got a K-bar brought to us by Jesse McJames, and the K-bar, it's a little bigger knife. It is, if you look, it's got a little more beef to it than the Western. Let's pull the clip point blade out on it. Let's pull the larger clip point out. The master clip point, I guess they call it. But if you look fully open, the K-bar's got it by about 1/4 inch. But both of them are very, very, very good knives. So couldn't go wrong with carrying either one of these. I need to do the same with this one as I did with this one and get it cleaned up, because this one, it's a good knife. So I just need to break down and do it. It just does take time when you're doing it by hand. I probably spent so far 4 man hours on this because I do it by hand. I don't use a machine, so I don't like putting machines on good quality knives. So yeah, look at it. All right, guys, we're 8 minutes deep. We're taking a look here. We seen the Western 062. I don't think I have any more pictures to post up there, but you kind of seen the before and the after, and you let me know if you think I did a decent job. All right, guys, like, subscribe, leave me a comment, let me know what you think about this Western, and if you throw a Western up, tag me. I'll get in there and I'll watch every single bit of it, and if I'm not subbed, I will subscribe to your channel. All right, guys, hey, while you're out there, keep it Medges friendly.